They're also talking about this on the nationwide level, where all of the other states that are not included, as in this article here, will also be getting this at some point. So I just want you to be very aware of this because this is good, really, really good stuff. Let's pop this article up here now. Feel free to read through the details on this. Let me explain exactly what's going on. All right, so it was recently announced the state of New York will be issuing new EBT cards that are chip enabled. Finally, they are finally doing this. Now, why do we care about this? The current way that EBT cards are set up with the magnetic strip on the back, there's not really a nice way to say this, but honestly, this is terrible. This is really, really terrible, simply because EBT card holders are literally targets for people taking your benefit because the cards are so easily hackable and scannable that they literally target these individuals to steal your EBT benefit. It's a nasty situation. And that's what I said at the beginning of the video, which is this is literally happening at a tune of tens of millions of dollars per month that EBT card holders are losing due to these cloning scams and phishing scams and these skimming devices that literally take money off of EBT cards. It's literally costing tens of millions of dollars a month. Either way, there's been a few states that are out there, California being one of them. They recently have been sending out these EBT cards. Now, the state of New York has also announced that they partnered with Fidelity Information Services, I think that's what it was, Fidelity, to basically manufacture these new chip-enabled cards. So think of like a credit card, for example, right? You have that little chip on the very end of it. That is all that they need to do. Super easy stuff. But unfortunately, EBT cards in general do not have those, but they're still working on old technology, which is the magnetic strip on the back, and you swipe the card, and obviously you can get your details taken from you very, very, very easily from these skimming devices that are put on little kiosks. Well, the point being is that because they are losing literally tens of millions of dollars a month because of these scams that are out there, they want to update EBT cards. Now, again, some states are taking it into their own initiative to basically manufacture the new cards at their own expense and then dish those cards out to the respective beneficiaries in their states. So New York is indicating that they'll be distributing these new EBT cards to people within the state of New York early next year, which is really good. That's really, really good to know. Now, here's the deal as well. It's taking them forever to do this, but lawmakers are talking about, and again, they're slow at everything, are talking about a piece of legislation which is called Cybersecurity for SNAP Act. Again, Cybersecurity for SNAP Act. Feel free to look it up if you want to. But basically what this would do is essentially issue new EBT cards that are chip-enabled, security chip-enabled, for all food stamp beneficiaries across the entire country that would be paid for off of the back of the federal government rather than the states. Now, the reason that this is actually a good thing is because right now, as I've said for a very long time, states are broke. States don't have any money. If you think you're broke, just look at your state. They're probably way more broke than you are. Okay, I'm just being fair. States have no money. They're so broke, they don't even know what to do. And when they get a little bit of money, they blow it on dumb stuff, right? But my point being is that states don't have any money. When they get a little bit of money, they don't spend it on things that are important like updating EBT cards. So therefore, there's only a very small handful of states out there, New York, California, I think there's maybe one or two more, it's not many at all, that are taking money out of their own coffers and they're using that money to initiate the purchase of EBT cards that are chip enabled to secure the food stamp beneficiaries that get SNAP benefits from their state to help these individuals from basically being scammed out of tens of millions of dollars per month that they're losing from this. And remember, if you have this happen to you, you can't get that money back. It's gone. That's it. You can call your local office and say, hey, this happened to me. And they'll say, sorry, tough luck, right? They'll literally tell you nothing. They cannot do anything for you. They cannot reimburse that money. Now, a couple years ago, I think it was maybe like 2022 to 2024. There was a 2-year time frame. I think it was the end of 2022 through the end of 2024 where they used to reimburse that money with federal dollars. There was a piece of legislation that passed and they did that. Well, obviously that's years ago now that expired and they no longer do it. But there was a small amount of time that they did reimburse people that had their benefits taken from them. No more. That ended a couple years ago. But anyway, individuals are just on their own now. If something happens to your benefit, they literally just be like, sorry, I guess you'll have to wait till next month. You have friends or family you can rely on? Can you go to a food bank, a food pantry? They can't do anything anymore. And that's a nasty situation because they're not putting up the money to, invest in the cards that ultimately saves the program, saves the beneficiary, and ultimately saves the federal government and the taxpayer tens of millions of dollars per month that is literally being robbed from these individuals, which is a sad situation. So that's why I said in this article, it specifically talks about New York. Yep, that's New York, but they're also talking about, and have been for a while now, again, this piece of legislation, the Cybersecurity for SNAP Act, which would update the cards across the entire country for everybody. And I've been pounding the table on this for a while as well, saying, do it, do it, do it, because people are losing a lot of money, and it puts people into a very precarious situation who don't even have the money to pay for groceries in the first place. And then to say, oh, sorry, all your benefits have been taken from you this month. Now what are you going to do? Well, I don't know. Good question. What am I going to do? What are my options now? So anyway, there's ways around this. And again, I can throw a couple out for you really quickly, which I'm sure all of you have already heard. And I don't want to make it sound like I'm babying you or like I'm trying to micromanage you. That's not my intention ever in these videos. We're all grown adults. We can all figure stuff out, right? But let me throw a couple pieces out. If this helps one person avoid getting their benefits taken from them, it's going to be absolutely worth it, which is freeze and unfreeze your card. Now, it sounds super obvious, but nobody does it. Here's the deal. You can get the Propel app, okay? So there's this Propel app where you can get that and you can link your EBT card to it. In the app, you can freeze and unfreeze your card. What I would do is freeze the card, and as soon as you decide to go to the grocery store and spend some of that money, literally when you are in line waiting to check out, whip out your phone, go into the app, unfreeze your card, make your purchase, and then freeze your card again. As soon as you're done with that transaction, freeze your card again. That's one thing that you do. So literally keep your card frozen all the time, with the exception of like 3 minutes that it takes you to check out at the grocery store, and then freeze it again. Okay, that's one option. The other option is this. Let's just say, I'm just going to make up a date here just for easy purposes. Let's just say that you get your EBT payment on the first of every month. Okay, the first day of every month. Let's just say on, I don't know, the 29th of every month. The 29th of every single month, or, obviously with the exception of February, the 27th or something, like 1 or 2 or 3 days before the end of the month, change your PIN number. Every single month, change your PIN number. And I know that might be hard to remember your PIN number, but change it because they can't access your benefit unless they have your PIN number. So if you change it literally like 2 days before you get your deposit, now the scammer's like,